back fellow witches, wizards, and anyone who's ever dreamed of receiving that mysterious letter in the mail. Sit back, relax, grab a cup of tea, maybe even a pumpkin juice if you've got one handy. And let's talk about something that has captured the imagination of millions, Hogwarts Legacy. Now I know what you're thinking. Another game review? Another recap of spells, combat, or storylines? Not exactly. Today we're diving deeper into why this game isn't just a video game. Why it feels like it finally gave fans what we've been waiting for, maybe even unconsciously, for decades. For 20+ years, we've been passengers. Passengers in Harry Potter's story. We read the books, watch the movies, and yes, we love them. Don't get me wrong, those stories are iconic, but we weren't really there, were we? We were watching, observing, living vicariously through Harry, through Hermione, through Ron. And that's amazing, truly, but it leaves a craving, doesn't it? That desire to finally step into those castle walls as ourselves, to not just witness history, but create it. That's exactly what Hogwarts Legacy offers. Let's start with something subtle but monumental. The game is set in the late 1800s, a full century before Harry even sets foot in Hogwarts, and honestly, that choice is genius. Think about it. By removing the shadow of Harry, Voldemort, Dumbledore, and the Deathly Hallows, the game gives us freedom. Narrative freedom, yes, but also emotional freedom. We're no longer just living someone else's story. There are no predetermined victories, no deaths we know are coming, no destiny that's been written in stone. It's like walking into a classroom where the teacher says, "The curriculum is yours to create." That's Hogwarts in the 1800s. And every choice feels weighty because it isn't tethered to someone else's journey. You aren't a background character, you are the story. And this setting does more than give freedom. It also offers familiarity. The castle is instantly recognizable, the soaring towers, moving staircases, the Great Hall, but it also feels new, untouched, alive. It's the same Hogwarts we imagined as kids, yet somehow it feels like it's waiting just for us. Now let's talk about character creation, because let's be honest, this is the first truly personal magic the game gives us. For decades, we imagined ourselves at Hogwarts. Maybe we pictured a version of Harry, or maybe we were always imagining ourselves. And finally, in Hogwarts Legacy, we get to craft that. Name, appearance, voice, even personality traits, and it doesn't stop there. We get to choose our house, of course, but the sorting hat actually reads us, feels us out, figures out where we belong. And I don't know about you, but that gave me goosebumps the first time I tried it. Then comes the twist. You start as a 5th-year student, a late bloomer, already magically competent but still with room to grow. This small narrative decision is brilliant because it justifies why your character is special without dragging in some dusty old prophecy. You aren't a pawn. You aren't chosen by fate. Magic just found you. And now you're free to explore it. Think about that for a second. Compare it to Harry. Harry was reacting to destiny from the day he was born. We, on the other hand, are creating destiny moment by moment. That subtle shift transforms the entire experience. It's not just a game mechanic, it's a philosophy. And speaking of immersion, let's walk through Hogwarts itself for a minute. Imagine stepping into the stone corridors. The floorboards creak beneath your feet. You hear the faint echo of a spell from a classroom down the hall. Floating candles drift lazily above you. Portraits whisper secrets, and somewhere a suit of armor creaks in response to your presence. Every detail in the game is there to make us feel present, alive, and magical. You can linger in a classroom, peek into a laboratory, or just stroll through the courtyards and watch sunlight glint off the black lake. Every corridor, every stairwell, every hidden nook feels like it's been designed to spark curiosity. And it works. Every time I played, I found myself stopping to look at things I'd normally rush past in a game. A loose brick, A tapestry with a shadowy figure behind it, a small note on a desk with barely legible handwriting. And that, my friends, is the difference between watching Harry's story and living your own. You notice, you explore, you exist in the world, not just observe it. Now, Hogwarts is amazing, but it's just the start. Beyond the castle lies the Scottish Highlands, massive, sprawling, breathtaking. And the game doesn't just give you scenery, it gives you freedom. Want to hop on a broom and fly over the lake? Go ahead. Want to explore a hidden village tucked behind snow-dusted trees? Absolutely. Want to chase a curious niffler through a glen while it steals your coins? That too. Each location is layered with details, secrets, and challenges, and the pacing is perfect. You're never rushed from quest to quest. You can wander, you can get lost, you can take your time, marvel at the world, and let the game reward your curiosity. Even simple spells like Revelio become joyful tools of discovery. Every ping, every shimmer, every highlighted object reminds you there's more to see, more to explore. Hogwarts isn't a set, it's a world. And that sense of discovery is honestly intoxicating. And I want to pause here for a moment. Close your eyes just for a second. Imagine the sorting hat on your head. Which house would you be in? What spell would you cast first? Who would you want as a friend or mentor? Because in Hogwarts Legacy, the answer is entirely up to you. That's powerful, that's magical, and it's something the books and movies never fully allowed. For me, I spent a good 15 minutes just wandering the castle on my first playthrough, not following quests, not hunting for loot, just walking, listening, exploring. And I felt something I hadn't felt since I first opened a Harry Potter book, a quiet, persistent sense of wonder. That's the magic of the game. That's why it resonates. So, Hogwarts Legacy isn't just a game, it's a doorway, a portal. It hands us something we've been wanting for decades, the chance to live Hogwarts on our own terms. Starting in the late 1800s gives us freedom. Character creation gives us agency. Hogwarts itself, with every detail, every hidden corner, every magical quirk, gives us immersion. And the open world beyond, it rewards curiosity, exploration, and imagination. Next, we're going to dive even deeper, exploring combat, side quests, moral choices, and the stories of friends and companions that make this game truly unforgettable. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Until then, imagine stepping into those castle halls, wand in hand, magic at your fingertips, ready to write your own story. Because in Hogwarts Legacy, that story is waiting for you. All right, so we've stepped into Hogwarts, we've felt that initial thrill of freedom, and we've created our character. Now it's time to talk about the real magic of Hogwarts Legacy, exploration. I want you to picture this. You're wandering the castle hallways, and for the first time, you realize you're not following Harry. You're not being pulled from one scripted event to the next. Instead, you're free to meander. Peek into classrooms, listen to the whispers of ghosts floating down corridors. Try opening doors just to see if something hidden lies beyond. And here's the thing, the game rewards this kind of curiosity constantly. It's almost like the developers whispered, yes, you could follow the main quest, or you could poke around and find magic everywhere. And if you're anything like me, you take the second option every time. One of my favorite aspects of Hogwarts is the sense of discovery. There are passages you can only find if you cast a certain spell, or if you notice a slight shimmer on the floor or wall. I remember my first time stumbling across a small room tucked behind a tapestry in the Slytherin corridor. Inside, there was a potion shelf covered in dust and a single tiny note left by a long-forgotten student. It was almost like the castle itself was alive, rewarding attention and care. And that's not just cosmetic. Some hidden rooms contain rare ingredients, enchanted trinkets, or mini-quests that lead to a powerful, magical reward. Even a simple trip down the right hallway can spark an adventure of its own. Now let's talk about how it feels to actually interact with this world, because Hogwarts isn't just for looking at, it's for doing. Take your wand, for instance. Every spell you learn is a tool, but it's also a puzzle piece. You can combine spells in ways that feel almost like painting with magic. Freeze a goblin with Glacius, then blast him into a stack of crates with Depulso. Watch the crates tumble and explode. Each interaction feels tactile, reactive, alive. And I love that there's a strategy element to this. You're limited to 4 spells at a time. So you're constantly thinking, do I want to take a defensive spell, an offensive spell, or a control spell? That kind of decision-making keeps you fully immersed, especially when paired with the unpredictability of combat encounters. Now we've explored the castle, but the real world beyond is just as exciting. Hogsmeade, the Scottish Highlands, tiny villages tucked in the snowy valleys. These aren't just backdrops, they're interactive, explorable and alive. I remember flying over the Black Lake for the first time. The wind rushing past my character, the sunlight reflecting on the water, the castle shrinking behind me. It was breathtaking. And that's just the beginning. Hogsmeade is full of alleys, hidden shops, and NPCs who react differently depending on the choices you've made. You might stumble into a shop with a quirky, slightly eccentric wizard who offers a rare ingredient or an unexpected side quest. These small moments make the world feel lived in. And speaking of side quests, this game does friendship and morality in a way the movies never could. There's a quest where you help a magical creature only to realize that the solution isn't simple. Maybe saving it has unintended consequences elsewhere. You feel responsible. You feel the weight of the world in your hands, not just as a hero, but as a participant in a living, breathing, magical ecosystem. Here's a tip if you want to maximize your experience. Don't follow the quest markers too strictly. Seriously. Let yourself wander. Cast Revelio frequently. It highlights hidden items, interactable objects, and secrets. Pay attention to the sound design. Hogwarts is full of audio clues. A faint rustle in a hallway might mean a Niffler is nearby or a magical puzzle is waiting to be solved. And don't underestimate the small things. Picking up ingredients for potions, observing magical wildlife, or finding a dusty old book in a forgotten classroom, these aren't just filler. They make the castle feel alive and they make your own story feel real. Speaking of magical wildlife, let's talk about vivariums. And these are not just cute additions, they're integral to the game's progression and world building. You rescue creatures from the wild, mooncalves, hippogriffs, even the elusive thestrals, and each one has a purpose. Feeding and caring for them isn't just adorable, the resources they provide, feathers, fur, magical essence, are used to upgrade gear and craft powerful items. The vivariums are an extension of your Hogwarts life. They're your responsibility, your project, your little ecosystem to manage, and there's a very satisfying sense of progression here. Watching a creature you rescued grow, thrive, and contribute to your magical toolkit is incredibly rewarding. What's truly brilliant about Hogwarts Legacy is its use of environmental storytelling. Every location tells a story if you stop and look. A broken wand in a hallway might hint at a duel that happened long ago. A torn tapestry might be a clue to a hidden passage. A dusty cauldron might tell you about an old alchemy experiment gone wrong. These are the small touches that make the world feel alive. You're constantly piecing together the history of Hogwarts on your own. And there's something inherently magical about that. It makes every corridor feel like a treasure trove of history waiting to be discovered. Now let me take a step back and just talk to you as a fellow fan. I spent hours just wandering, doing nothing major, and I loved every second. I found hidden rooms, overheard ghostly conversations, and stumbled across tiny side quests that weren't required but felt significant. That sense of discovery, of freedom, of living in Hogwarts, it's unlike anything I've experienced in a Harry Potter game before. And here's a little personal musing. Imagine the stories you'll tell in 10 years. I once found a secret Slytherin room that no one else knew about. I discovered a hidden recipe for a potion that cured a magical illness. That's the beauty of this game. It turns you into a storyteller. Your choices, your curiosity, your exploration, they all leave a mark. So listeners, I want to ask you this. If you were at Hogwarts, where would you start? Would you explore the castle first, or take your broom and fly over the Highlands? Would you poke around the library or go straight to Hogsmeade for sweets? And another thought, when you discover a secret, what would you do? Keep it to yourself or share it with friends? The game actually makes you think about these choices. You're not just playing, you're living a version of Hogwarts that feels incredibly personal. To some, Hogwarts Legacy excels in exploration and mechanics because it respects your curiosity and rewards your attention. Hogwarts, Hogsmeade, the Highlands, they aren't just sets, they're living, breathing worlds. Every spell, every creature, every hidden corner reinforces the feeling that this is your Hogwarts, and that's a profoundly satisfying experience. Next, we're going to dive into the combat system, ancient magic, and moral choices. We'll get into tactical spellcasting, companion quests, and moments where the choices you make feel heavy, real, and honestly kind of thrilling. Until then, wander, explore, experiment. Because in Hogwarts Legacy, magic isn't just taught, it's lived. All right, friends. So now we're moving into combat, which is where Hogwarts Legacy really flips the script on what we've come to expect from a Harry Potter experience. Because let's be honest, the books and movies, they showed duels, yes, but they were more about drama than strategy. Expelliarmus, stupefy, a few explosions, and boom, plot over. That was it. Here, combat is deep, strategic, and surprisingly creative. You're not just pressing buttons, you're thinking like a wizard. Let's talk about the core rule first. You can equip only 4 spells at a time. At first, this might feel limiting, but it's brilliant. It forces you to plan, to strategize, to make decisions before entering combat. You might want Glacius to control crowds, Confringo for high damage, Arresto Momentum to control movement, and maybe Leviosa for improvisation. And suddenly each fight is not just a battle, it's a puzzle. But here's the really fun part. Combos. You can chain spells together in ways that feel almost artistic. Picture this. You freeze a group of enemies with Glacius, lift a crate with Leviosa, slam it onto them, then blast them with Confringo. Every hit feels tactile, reactive, alive. And it's not just flashy, it's satisfying. You feel like the hero, like you're orchestrating chaos with elegance. And the environment, oh man, the environment is your playground. Explosive barrels, loose stones, magical plants. You can turn everything into a tool or a weapon. Once, I grabbed a group of enemies and literally threw them into each other like human projectiles. It was ridiculous, it was glorious, and it worked. Now, if you crank up the difficulty, the game demands attention. Perfect dodges, timed blocks, and deep knowledge of your spellbook suddenly matter. It's not just about being powerful, it's about being smart. And honestly, that's exactly what makes Hogwarts Legacy feel like a true RPG. You're rewarded for thinking, for experimenting, and for understanding the mechanics at a deep level. All right, let's pivot to ancient magic, which is where the narrative and gameplay intersect in the most fascinating way. Unlike Harry's story, where the stakes are largely external, Voldemort, the prophecy, etc., here, your power is internal. Ancient magic is raw, potent, and unpredictable, and it isn't just a plot device, it's part of your identity. You're not wielding someone else's legacy, you're shaping your own. Early in the game, you realize that this power isn't just about blasting enemies. It can manipulate environments, amplify spells, and even interact with hidden objects in ways normal magic can't. But, and here's the key, Ancient magic comes with a moral weight. The keepers constantly remind you that using it recklessly could have consequences. And they're right. Every choice to wield it can change how others perceive you and potentially how the world responds. This brings us to the moral dilemmas. Hogwarts Legacy doesn't just hand you a world to explore, it hands you decisions that matter. Take Sebastian Sallow's storyline, for instance. The guy is desperate to save his sister from a curse, and he asks you to help him embrace the dark arts. Do you teach him Imperio, letting him control others to achieve his goal? Do you cast Avada Kedavra in a moment of mercy, or refuse entirely? There's no right answer, there's just consequence, and it's heavy. And that's what makes the game so emotionally engaging. You aren't just a player, you're a participant, you're complicit. You feel the weight of your choices, and sometimes it's uncomfortable. That's storytelling done right. Now, it's not just Sebastian. Every companion has their own story, their own moral dilemmas, their own stakes. Poppy Sweeting is a perfect example. You might think helping her rescue magical beasts is straightforward, but then you realize there are consequences for the local ecosystem or for other students at Hogwarts. Natsai Onai from Wagadu presents another layer. Her questline forces you to weigh justice against mercy, action against caution. The game is constantly asking, what kind of witch or wizard are you? And there's no moral handbook. Your answers shape your legacy, your relationships, and even the magical world itself. And let's not forget the keepers themselves. They are fascinating narrative devices. They warn you about ancient magic, offer guidance, and occasionally restrict you, but they also respect your autonomy. They create tension between mentorship and freedom. You're constantly balancing trust, rebellion, and personal ambition. And that friction is gold for a story-driven RPG. What I love is how combat, exploration, and story are intertwined. You're not just learning spells to fight random enemies. Each ability, each strategic choice reinforces the story you're living. You're growing into your own legend, not replaying Harry Potter's legend. Even small combat encounters feel like character development. A duel against goblins? You realize your spell choices reflect your personality. Do you play cautiously, controlling the battlefield? Do you go all-out offensive, embracing raw power? Every decision here isn't just mechanical, it's narrative. And now let's be real for a second. I spent hours just experimenting with ancient magic, watching the environment react, pushing spells to their limits, and laughing at the sheer chaos I could create. One moment, I accidentally turned a goblin camp upside down with a combination of Leviosa and Depulso, and it was simultaneously hilarious and awesome. These are the moments that stick. Not the scripted cutscenes, not the dialogue trees. It's the pure, unscripted creativity of living in Hogwarts your way. And it's also a little humbling. You realize power isn't just about strength, it's about responsibility. Ancient magic is exhilarating, but it also constantly reminds you that even the best intentions can go wrong, and that's a rare lesson in a video game. So here's a question for you listeners. If you had ancient magic in your hands, how would you use it? To protect, to experiment, to dominate? And what lines would you never cross? Think about your companions too. Would you guide them down a safer path, or let them explore their own morality? These choices feel intimate, personal, and frankly, a little scary, which is exactly what makes them magical. Hogwarts Legacy transforms combat and magic into storytelling tools. Ancient magic adds a layer of power and responsibility, while companion quests and moral dilemmas create stakes that feel real, weighty, and personal. This isn't just about fighting or winning, it's about shaping your Hogwarts story, making decisions that matter, and understanding the consequences of your power. Next, we'll dive into the main quest, the Room of Requirement, building your personal legacy, and the endgame experience, We'll explore how all these systems come together to make Hogwarts Legacy a truly unforgettable adventure. So after everything we've talked about so far, the exploration, the combat, the companions, the moral crossroads, we eventually arrive at the point every great RPG has to face, at the ending. And not just the final boss fight, but the moment where the game quietly asks you, all right, who did you become? Because Hogwarts Legacy isn't really interested in asking whether you won. It's asking whether you understood the power you were given. And that becomes clearest when we start talking about the Room of Requirement, the final decisions around ancient magic, and what it means to actually leave a mark on this world. Let's slow down for a second and really talk about the Room of Requirement, because this space does something no other part of the game quite manages. In the books, the Room of Requirement was reactive. It appeared when someone needed it, served a purpose, and disappeared again. It was clever, it was mysterious, but it was never personal. In Hogwarts Legacy, it becomes something radically different. This room doesn't just respond to need, it responds to identity. From the moment Professor Weasley introduces it to you, the game quietly shifts tone. This is no longer about classes or quests or expectations. This is your space. And what you choose to build here says a lot about the kind of wizard you're becoming. Do you turn it into a purely functional workshop filled wall to wall with potion stations and loom upgrades optimized for efficiency? Or do you decorate it, slow down, add warmth, make it feel lived in? Neither answer is wrong, but both answers mean something. And that's kind of the magic of it. What makes the Room of Requirement brilliant isn't just customization. It's how every major gameplay system converges here. Your potions, your plants, your gear upgrades, your magical beasts. Nothing exists in isolation. Everything feeds into everything else. You explore, you discover resources, you bring them home, you improve, you return stronger. It's a loop, yes, but it's also a metaphor. You leave Hogwarts, you learn, you come back changed. And that rhythm mirrors the experience of being a student in a way no cutscene ever could. The Vivariums deserve special attention here. On the surface, they're beautiful, peaceful, almost therapeutic. You rescue magical beasts, give them space, nurture them. But if you stop and think about it, this is also controlled stewardship. You decide where creatures live. You decide how they're cared for. You decide what you take from them. And again, the game doesn't lecture you about this, it just lets the implications exist. Are you protecting these creatures, or are you managing them? That ambiguity ties directly back to ancient magic and the central theme of the story. Power justified by good intentions is still power. Eventually, the game pulls you back to the central conflict, the Keepers, the repository, and the legacy of Isidora Morgana. And this is where Hogwarts Legacy becomes less about spectacle and more about philosophy. Isidora wasn't evil in the beginning, that's the uncomfortable truth. She wanted to remove pain, to heal, to help. And the Keepers didn't stop her because she was cruel. They stopped her because she refused to accept limits. That's the heart of the conflict, not good versus evil, but restraint versus certainty. When you finally stand before the repository, the game asks you a simple question dressed up as a dramatic decision. Do you seal the power away, trusting that some forces should remain untouched? Or do you claim it, believing that you are different, that you can succeed where others failed? What's fascinating is that the game doesn't punish you outright for either choice. Instead, it lets you sit with it. And while many players have criticized the ending for lacking mechanical consequences, I'd argue something quieter is happening. The consequence isn't external, it's internal. The ending doesn't ask, what happened to the world? It asks, what do you believe about yourself? Harry Potter's story was about inevitability. A prophecy spoken before he could speak. A fate he never consented to. A war that claimed him whether he wanted it or not. Your character in Hogwarts Legacy has no prophecy, no destined enemy, no fixed ending, and that freedom is both empowering and unsettling, because when things go wrong, there's no prophecy to blame. When the credits roll, what do you remember most? It probably isn't Ranrock. It probably isn't the final boss arena. It's Sebastian standing too close to the edge. It's Poppy risking everything for creatures no one else values. It's flying over the highlands with no objective marker on your screen. It's standing in your room of requirement, realizing you built this life piece by piece. Those are the memories that linger. The title Hogwarts Legacy isn't just branding, it's a question. What does it mean to leave a legacy? Is it power? Is it restraint? Is it the people who remember you kindly? Or the choices you made when no one was watching? The game never answers that for you, and that's its greatest strength. Now, let's be honest. The game isn't flawless. The open world can feel repetitive. The main character sometimes lacks a strong voice. Some narrative threads don't go as far as they could, but none of those flaws erase what the game achieves, because ambition matters, and Hogwarts Legacy is ambitious in the ways that count. Why, this was the story we needed for 20 years. Fans didn't ask for more Harry Potter stories. They asked for belonging. They wanted to walk the halls, get lost in the staircases, make mistakes, choose friends, cross lines, or refuse to. This game finally understood that. It didn't replace Harry. It stepped aside and said, "All right, now it's your turn." And maybe that's why this game resonates so deeply, because at its core, Hogwarts Legacy isn't about magic. It's about agency, about being trusted with power, about deciding who you are when no one tells you who to be. And that's a fantasy far more powerful than any spell. So if you've made it this far, thank you for taking this journey with me. I'd genuinely love to hear how you played the game, what choices you made, which lines you crossed or refused to cross. Because in this world, there's no single canon ending, only the legacy you chose to leave behind. So now that we've talked through the journey, the choices, the legacy, and what the game ultimately means, there's only one place left to go. What comes next? Because if Hogwarts Legacy did one thing better than almost any adaptation before it, it's this. It left people thinking. And when a game does that, when players are still debating theories, motives, and unfinished ideas long after the credits roll, it usually means the world is far from finished. So let's talk about the questions the game leaves behind, the theories fans can't stop arguing about, and most importantly, what a sequel, likely aiming for 2027, absolutely has to get right. The biggest unanswered question, who are we, really? Let's start with the elephant in the room of requirement. Who is our character? Not mechanically, not narratively, philosophically. We are told we can wield ancient magic, and we're told it's rare, we're told it's dangerous, but the game never fully explains why us. And that silence has sparked one of the most popular fan theories. Theory number 1, ancient magic chooses based on emotional capacity. Some fans believe ancient magic doesn't respond to bloodlines or talent, but to emotional perception. Isidora could feel pain in others. We can see traces of magic others cannot. That suggests ancient magic may be tied to empathy, not power, which raises a terrifying possibility. What happens when someone who lacks empathy gains access? A sequel could explore this by introducing another ancient magic wielder, not as a villain by default, but as a contrast. Someone who uses the same power without restraint, compassion, or hesitation. Is ancient magic sentient? Another massive theory, ancient magic may not be neutral at all. There are moments in the game where it feels almost responsive, reactive, as if it nudges events into motion. Some fans speculate ancient magic is closer to a force of will than a tool, something that subtly influences those who wield it. If that's true, then Isidora didn't just fall to obsession, she may have been guided there. A sequel could push this further by asking a dangerous question. What if ancient magic doesn't just amplify intent? What if it reshapes it? The Sebastian question, redemption or ruin? Let's talk about Sebastian, because no discussion of the future can avoid him. Depending on your choices, Sebastian's story ends in radically different emotional places, but narratively, it never feels finished. Fans are divided into two camps. Sebastian deserves redemption. Sebastian is already lost. A sequel has a golden opportunity here. Imagine a story where Sebastian returns, not as a villain, but not as a hero either. A man carrying guilt, power, and unresolved grief, or worse. Imagine him as proof that intentions don't erase consequences. If the sequel ignores him entirely, it will feel like a missed opportunity. What happened to the Keepers? Another lingering mystery, the Keepers. They are guardians of restraint, but also symbols of fear. They chose secrecy, they chose containment, they chose silence, and history suggests that silence is rarely neutral. A sequel could reframe them, not as wise mentors, but as flawed figures who may have caused as much harm as they prevented. What if their fear of ancient magic allowed darker forces to grow elsewhere? What if they misunderstood the power they were guarding? The wizarding world beyond Hogwarts. One of the most common critiques of Hogwarts Legacy is that while Hogwarts feels alive, the wider wizarding world feels distant. The sequel needs to fix this. Fans want wizarding politics, ministry involvement, international schools, cultural clashes between magical societies. We've already seen Ouagadougou mentioned. That's not accidental. A sequel could expand beyond Hogwarts entirely, making it a hub, not the whole world. Player choice must actually matter. This is the single biggest thing the sequel must address. Choices in Hogwarts Legacy are emotionally powerful but mechanically shallow. The sequel must allow branching questlines, altered relationships. World states that change meaningfully, not just different cutscenes. If you embrace dark magic, the world should respond. If you reject it, that should close doors as well as open them. True agency requires sacrifice, a stronger protagonist. Voice, another improvement fans consistently ask for, a more defined protagonist personality. Not a fixed character, but a reactive one. The sequel should allow tone, attitude, and moral stance to shape dialogue and reputation. You don't need a prophecy, but you do need a presence. Hogwarts must evolve. If the sequel returns to Hogwarts, and it should, it can't just be the same castle. Time should pass, professors should change, students should remember you. Rules should shift based on your actions. Hogwarts should feel like a place that remembers. Release. Window, why 2027 makes sense, given development cycles, ambition, and player expectations. A 2027 release window makes sense, but only if the sequel aims higher. Fans aren't asking for more content, they're asking for deeper systems, more consequence, more risk, more meaning. The real question the sequel must ask. The first game asked, what would you do with power? The sequel must ask something harder. What are you willing to lose because of it? That's where great fantasy lives. Final reflection, why this story isn't over. Hogwarts Legacy didn't give us a perfect ending. It gave us an unfinished conversation. And that's why people are still talking about it. Because Legacy isn't about endings, it's about what refuses to stay silent once the story is over. If you've listened through all 5 parts, thank you. This wasn't just a review, it wasn't just nostalgia, it was a conversation about agency, power, and what it means to finally step inside a world we loved from the outside for so long. Whatever the sequel becomes, whether in 2027 or beyond, it has something precious to build on. Not a franchise, but a promise. And that promise is this: The story doesn't belong to Harry anymore. It belongs to us.